So good morning or afternoon if you're doing this practice later on. Welcome. We'll start out on our backs with our knees bent and our feet planted. And it might be helpful to have a couple of props as you come to your mat. I have a blanket and a block or two. So, you can get creative with what you have at home and use a towel or any kind of blanket. You can fold up a blanket, make a makeshift block to, Daisy's going to demonstrate for us. Daisy doesn't normally come into the picture. It's usually the kitties, so a rare glimpse of my dog. All right. Come on, Daisy. Let's do some yoga. So we won't need our props just yet. You can set them off to the side. Lay down on your back, knees bent, feet planted. Move your shoulders away from your ears. You can place your, oh, sorry, Daisy. I'm sorry, love. You can place your hands on your low belly. Maybe you widen your feet a little bit so you can let your knees draw in towards one another. And so this is a shape, sometimes you'll hear it called constructive rest or Ardha Shavasana, half Shavasana. Take some time here to close the eyes. Okay, Daisy. Close the eyes and let yourself settle.
Start to become aware of your breath. Breathing out through the nose, maybe take a few exhalations out through the mouth. With the hands on the low belly, can you get a sense of the breath rising and falling, expanding and contracting? About 3 more breaths here. Just allow yourself to arrive into your body, onto your mat. And notice how you feel. And stretch your arms up towards the ceiling. Let your palms face one another. I've been playing a little bit with rotation of the shoulders and the hips, so we'll just start by exploring that here. So the palms are facing one another. This is neutral rotation. And then let the thumbs spin in towards one another, and the palms face outward. So the backs of the hands are now facing one another. And that would be internal rotation. It's like the shoulder head, the humerus bone is turning in towards the clavicle bone. You can open that up, palms face one another, back through neutral, and then maybe palms towards the face. That would be more like external. And just start to turn the hands in and out. But can you let that motion be guided by humerus bone? So instead of the hands leading the way, the upper arm bone is rotating that. Now bend the elbows, grab your opposite elbows. Start to broaden your elbows across the chest towards the left, and then take your knees off to the right. Inhale back through center. Exhale, knees to the left, elbows across the chest towards the right. And start to move this, find a cadence, find a rhythm with your own breath. And if it's confusing, you can take a peek up here at me and see what I'm doing. You can try to match your breath to your movement. A couple of times more on each side. And we'll come back through center, release the arms down alongside the body. Plant your feet again, hip width distance apart. Stretch your right foot up towards the ceiling. Cross that right leg all the way on top of the left leg, so it's like you're sitting cross-legged in a chair. Almost like you have a half eagle leg, so you're not wrapping at the ankles, you're just wrapping that right thigh over the left thigh. And then we'll take eagle arms, and right elbow will be on top of left elbow, and you can grab your opposite shoulders here with your hands, or you can take actual eagle arms wrapping at the wrists. Take a big breath in, fingertips up and overhead, elbows towards the ceiling, toes down on the mat. And you exhale, elbows to the knees, curl your shoulders and your forehead up. And then breath out, stretching out on your back a little bit. Elbows to knees. So start to find this little movement, this rhythm of the breath. It might be an exhale where your elbows hug towards your knees, and an inhale where you lengthen out on your back. Tapping the toes down and your fingertips overhead. Try that 3 times more on this side. And then come back to your back. Unwind just your arms, so leave your feet and your legs as they are. Your arms are just unwinding. And then without using your hands, hug your knees into your chest with your right leg still crossed on top of your left leg. Reach your hands to the shin bones or the ankle bones or the feet. And you might pull the feet apart a little bit. So you're now in supine Gomukhasana legs. Cow face pose on your back. We'll hold here and breathe for a few moments. Just notice how that feels, where you feel sensation. For 3. For 2. Last one. Unwind the legs, release the hands, pick the feet up towards the ceiling, stretch the arms up towards the ceiling, begin to circle out ankles and wrists. So your shoulder heads are plugging into their sockets, your hip bones are plugging into their sockets as you reach your limbs towards the ceiling and circle out through the joints of ankles and feet. Bend your knees, plant your feet, arms down alongside the body. Press down into your feet, lift your hips up, stretch your arms up and overhead. Deep breath in here. And breath out to slowly release and lower. Everything comes back. Twice more like that dynamic bridge with the breath. Inhale, lift up through the hips, stretch the arms long. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Arms down alongside the body. Pick up your left foot. Cross that left thigh all the way on top of the right thigh. Cross-legged, sitting in a chair almost, but like the chair is on its back. Don't worry about wrapping at the ankles. Just leave this across the legs. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Stretch your arms up towards the ceiling. Wrap your left elbow in front of your right, wrapping at the wrist. Breath in to touch the toes down and fingertips overhead. And exhale, elbows to knees, curl the chin into the chest. Inhale to lengthen out. Exhale to curl up. Continue. Last 3. Let your back body release. Arms unwind, but keep the cross of the legs. Without using the arms, hug your knees into your chest. Now reach down with your hands, grab your opposite shins or ankles or feet. Relax your shoulders. As you pull the feet apart, just honor your body's range of motion. Your feet don't have to pull apart super far. There's no goal here. You're just noticing the sensations in the body this morning. Let's take 3 deep breaths here. Start to unwind the legs, reach the feet up towards the ceiling, hands up towards the ceiling. And this time just shake out your hands and your feet. So you imagine yourself maybe like a little bug that's stuck on its back and it's trying to get over. Just shake out the limbs. A couple of breaths here. All right, let's hug the knees into the chest. We'll pull the knees wide. Take your hands around the backs of the knees. So it's like you're in Happy Baby, but you have your hands around the backs of the knees. Okay. Rock a little bit side to side. Now we're going to begin to rock the length of the mat like this with the knees wide. So as we inhale, we come forward, keep the feet wide, let them touch down. And as you exhale, rolling onto your back, and then forward, back and forth. You can let that rock be big, be small, somewhere in between. And the next time you come forward, we'll pause there and we'll maybe use our hands to arrange ourselves into our first Malasana squat. Here's where that blanket might come in handy. So if the heel bones don't touch the floor, that's okay. You can fold that blanket underneath the heels. And this might be a nice experience to try, even if your heel bones do touch the floor. Just see what this feels like. Just take a few moments here to pause. Lengthen the crown of the head towards the ceiling, hands to the heart. Upper arm bones pressing just a little bit along the inner knees, inner legs. We'll add a little flow to this, so we'll press down into our feet. See if you can stand up nice and tall. Reach the arms towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, you sit right back down into Malasana. Take it slow. As you inhale, press down through the feet, reach up. And an option this time to interlace the hands behind the head as you sink the hips and bend the knees. So that might create a little bit more of a challenge in the spine. You can keep that interlace of the hands behind the head like you're making a little cradle, or you can release it. Your choice. Just a couple more times to squat and to stand up. Come back down into your squat, pause there. Maybe we'll get rid of the blanket and maybe you find a block now instead underneath the sits bones. So you can actually take a seat here on your block if you're using that. You don't have to. Again, this is an option. Now we're going to play with a little bit of rotation through the femur bone. Okay, so you're just going to roll that left knee in and then roll that left knee out. In and out just a few times. Doesn't matter how far it goes in and out. It might be barely moving, might be just like a millimeter moving in and out. And we'll change sides. So opposite knee, you're rolling to the outer edge of the foot, and then you're rolling to the inner edge of the foot as you explore that rotation. Twice more. So we'll come back through Savasana. Press down through your feet. Stand up nice and tall. You can slip that block off to the side if you're using it. Reach up through the arms. And your hands to your heart. Pause here. Heel bones press down. Crown of the head lifts. Front hip points lift up to the front ribs. Shoulders relax. Close your eyes here. Bring the awareness to the four corners of the feet. So the inner corners, the inner edge of the foot, the outer edge of the foot, the front and the back. We'll sing the sound of Om here together one time. Inhale to begin. Blinking the eyes open, bring your hands to the waist. We'll shift that weight into the left foot, lift the right knee up. Ardha Tadasana, half Tadasana. And now you're going to turn that right knee out to the side. You're externally rotating the leg. Right ankle to left thigh. Bend your knees, or bend your left knee rather, and sink your hips. So you're moving into figure four. We're just going to move in and out of this shape. So standing up, Ardha Tadasana, right knee lifting. And then place the right ankle, bend the knees, sink the hips. Just play with your balance. Play with your range of motion. Start to feel a little bit of sensation around the stabilizer muscles that hold your joints in place. Notice how that feels and where you feel it. Next time you come into figure four, pause there. Sink the hips a little bit lower. Maybe you bring the hands to the heart, or maybe you bring the fingertips down to the mat, or blocks if you still have them there. Just pause here for a moment. Breath in, breath out. Now press down through that left foot, lift the heart back up, hands to the heart. Right knee lifts. Send that right leg behind you, soft landing. Let's set up warrior one legs. Left toes point straight forward, bend the left knee. Right foot 45 degrees. Nice and strong, rooted through your right foot. Stretch the arms up towards the ceiling. Interlace the fingers behind the head. Draw your elbows close. It's like you're creating that little cradle for the head. And now on your exhale, elbows wide. Maybe you even lift the gaze and let the head lay back into the hands. Exhale, elbows close. Inhale, elbows wide. Twice more. Stay connected to your feet. Now inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale, press your left leg straight and sweep your arms back behind you. So we're going to hinge forward from the hips. Before we do, I'll give you the option to interlace the fingers to the webbing, or you grab a scarf, a towel, your blanket, And pull that apart, straightening out through the arms as you hinge forward from your hips. Pause when you're about halfway. So torso's parallel or thereabouts with the mat. Press and root strongly through both feet. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Bend the elbows a little, release the hands, frame out that left foot, lift the right heel bone. And step the right knee to the mat. Sweep the arms forward and up, low lunge, Vinyasa. Deep breath in here. Breath out, palms down. Step into high plank and pause. Pause in your high plank. Lengthen out. Heel bones back, crown of the head forward. Press the floor away, slight round in your upper back. Come all the way down to the mat with or without the help of the knees. Set up for Shalamba Locust. Stretch the arms back behind you. On your inhale, press down through the pubic bone. Stretch the arms up and back. Feet up and back. So limbs, all four limbs are stretching in that same direction. Deep breath in here. Breath out, palms underneath the shoulders, a little bit towards the floating ribs. We're going to move through dynamic low cobra. So let your forehead rest here for a moment. You're lengthening out through the back of the neck. Squeeze your elbows in close, shoulders down the back. Keep that. Breath in, press down through the hands, the tops of the feet, lift the heart. Keep the elbows bent. Exhale, lower, forehead touches. Twice more. Inhale to lift and press away. Exhale to lower. One more time. Curl your toes under. You're going to make your way up and back to downward facing dog and take your time getting there. If that means moving through child's pose, it's always an option. Take some time in your first downward facing dog. Let it be indulgent. Bend your knees. Relax your head. Reconnect with the breath. So in downward facing dog, inhale, stretch your right leg up and back. Bend your right knee, point it towards the ceiling. You're stacking your right hip on top of your left or somewhere thereabouts. And now listen, you're going to wrap your right leg around the top of your left thigh. So it's like you're sitting cross-legged in that chair again, except for this time you're facing the floor in down dog. You can bend the both knees a little bit, squeeze the inner thighs together. And unwind the legs once more. Right leg lifts. Bend the knee, open the hip. We'll do that a couple of times. So right leg wraps around the top of the left thigh. Squeeze the inner thighs together. And then unwind. One more time all the way through like that. So keep the crossing of the legs. And then shift forward, let the knees softly land on the mat. You still have the legs crossed, widen the feet out to the sides. And then hands forward, sink the hips back a little bit. You're going to move in and out of Gomukhasana. So shifting forward, you're in this weird modified tabletop. And exhale any amount, shift the hips back. The knees might kind of lift away from the mat when you do that. At least the top knee does for me, the right knee. One more time, sink the hips back. Inhale, pull the heart forward, unwind the legs, reassemble yourself into downward facing dog. Pause there and breathe. For 3. For 2. Last one. Lift the heel bones, slight bend in the knees, gazing forward. Make your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Just take a couple of breaths here in your forward fold. Uttanasana, let your head relax. Be generous with the backs of the legs, especially with any hamstring stuff. Always feel free to bend your knees. From Uttanasana, we'll turn the toes out wide, maybe widen the stance a little bit, heel bone slightly in, bend your knees, sink your hips, Malasana. Maybe the hands gather together at the heart, or maybe the hands interlace behind the head. We'll take a breath in to stand up nice and tall. Reach the arms up. And then exhale your hands together at your heart. Bring your feet underneath your hips to parallel. Root down, stand tall. Tadasana. Breath in, breath out. Hands to the waist. Shift the weight into the right foot. Lift your left knee up. Just practice for a moment standing and balancing on your right foot. Feel all 4 points of the foot, so the inner edge of the foot, the outer edge, front and back. Now let's move this shape in and out of figure 4. So you're going to externally rotate that left knee, ankle onto the right thigh. Sink your hips back as you bend your right knee a little deeper. Inhale to stand tall. Left knee lifts. Exhale to sit back into figure 4. Continue. Connecting breath to movement. One way to translate Vinyasa is movement with breath. And that's placed in a special way. Movement with breath placed in a special way, which is what you're doing, Vinyasa. Next time left ankle comes on top of the right thigh, pause there. Maybe you sink the hips just a little bit lower. You can bring your hands together at the heart, or you can reach the fingertips down towards the floor or some blocks. Maybe you bend the knees a little bit more. You can also straighten out through that right standing leg. It's really up to you. Lift up and out of this. Left knee lifts. Extend your left foot back. Soft landing and set up our Virabhadrasana 1 feet footprint. Right toes forward, left foot about 45-degree angle, bend your right knee. Sweep your arms forward and up. Again, you might interlace the hands behind the head. That feels good. Squeeze your elbows in. Lengthen out through the back of the neck. Inhale, open the elbows out wide, and your choice. Maybe you lift the gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhale, elbows in close. A couple of times with the breath. On your own. So we'll release that. Arms reach up. Straighten out through your right leg. Sweep your arms back behind you. Your choice here. You can interlace the fingers to the webbing, or you can reach for that piece of cloth to pull the hands apart. Hinge forward at the hips. And just pause when you think you're about parallel with the torso. Keep reaching back through the knuckles, back through the hands to counterbalance the pitch of the torso forward. Keep pressing down through both feet, strong through right and left leg. Breath in. Breath out. Bend the elbows a little bit, release your hands. Frame your right foot out, bend your right knee. Lift your left heel. Lower your left knee to the mat. Low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Sweep your arms forward and up. Deep breath in. Breath out, hands down. Step back to high plank. Pause in your high plank. Inhale here. Exhale here. Shift forward onto the toes. You can choose to lower yourself all the way down onto the belly with or without the help of the knees. This time we'll set up for Sphinx pose, so we'll walk the elbows forward underneath the shoulders. Get them in alignment with the shoulders. Interlace your fingers to the webbing. Press down through the pinky edges of the palms, forearms, and elbows. Breath in here to lift the heart. Press down through the pubic bone. Breath out to curl the chin into the chest. Low belly might lift a little bit away from the mat. 3 times like that. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, pull the belly into the spine. Twice more. Okay, so find neutral here. Curl your toes under. Lift your pelvis away from the mat. Maybe you stay there and work that strength. Or maybe you lift the knees and find forearm plank. Pause in your forearm plank. Big breath in. You can also stay here in forearm plank. Or you can lift your hips up. Walk your feet forward. So the head is still away from the mat. You're just allowing the head to relax towards gravity. Shifting a little bit more weight. Shoulders over elbows. And then begin to walk yourself back out into forearm plank if you lifted your hips up. Set your knees down. Come all the way to the belly. Release your palms underneath your shoulders. Press back. Make your way to down dog eventually. Feel free to take that pass through child's pose if it feels good. Take some time in your down dog when you get there. Breathe. From downward facing dog, inhale, left leg lifts. Start to bend the left knee towards the ceiling as you rotate the hip open. And then start to bring that left thigh on top of the right thigh, crossing the legs, squeezing the inner thighs together. You can bend a little bit into that right knee as well. Unwind the legs, sweep that left leg high, open the hip. And start to move in and out of these 2 shapes with your breath. And one more time to lift the left leg. And then the next time you wind the left leg on top of the right thigh, keep that. Lower the knees to the mat. The legs are still crossed. And then see if you can take the feet out a little bit wider. Start to rock back and forth in this. In and out of Gomukhasana. And that modified tabletop. Any amount will do. One side is usually much more accessible, so you might just notice what side feels a little bit more smooth, a little bit more pliable. And one more time all the way through this. And shift forward back to that tabletop. Unwind the legs here. Make your way to down dog. Breath in. Breath out. Lift the heel bones, slight bend the knees. Gazing forward, make your way to the top of your mat. And breath in, lengthen out, halfway lift. Breath out, fold. So this time, see if you can come up with a flat back. Maybe your hands come to the waist. It's like you're pressing the back of the head to the space behind you to stand tall. Breath in, breath out. Sweep the arms forward and up. Exhaling, fold right back in, trace the midline of the body with the hands, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, high plank. Option to move through any sort of vinyasa that suits you. Modified in any way, or skip it all together. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Once you're in down dog, give yourself 3 big breaths. Last little bit of flow here. Inhale, right leg lifts. Bend the knee, open the hip. Exhale, sweep that right thigh on top of the left thigh. Squeeze the legs together. Bend a little bit into your left knee. Inhale, unwind. Reach that right leg high. Exhale, right foot towards the right thumb tip. Heel of the left foot spins down. This time, warrior 2 legs. So just a little bit different here in that the back left foot is parallel with the back of the mat. Sweep the arms out wide. We're just going to play with rotation of the shoulders here. So your right palm's going to face the ceiling as your left palm faces down. And then switch that out. Left palm faces up as your right palm faces down. Little contralateral movement. So we can get that rotation happening in humerus bone, upper arm bone, humerus bone. Breath in, breath out. Stay strong in your warrior 2 legs. We'll see if we can take that right arm behind the head. Maybe you're just kind of raising the back of the shoulder. And the left arm, so it's internally rotating, the palms facing down to the back body. We're not looking for the fingertips to connect. We're going to sweep the arms out wide and just switch that out. So left elbow bends, left fingertips to the shoulder blade. Internally rotate that right arm and the elbow to the back body. Sweep the arms wide, switch that, right elbow up, left elbow down. Switch that out again. Now this time as the arms come behind the back, see if you can resist them away from touching the back body. So as the elbows bend, right elbow high, left elbow low, the hands are not in contact with the body. One more time, left elbow high, right elbow low. Unwind the arms. Circle that left palm down underneath the left shoulder as you lift your left heel. Right arm sweeps high, simple twist in your low lunge. Find that internal rotation, the humerus bone twirls in towards the ear. Bend the elbow. See if you can take the back of the right hand to the left hip. We'll do that again. Unwind that right arm. Sweep it up high. Find that internal rotation. Bend the elbow. Place the hand at the left hip. One more time, sweep the arm high. And that internal rotation, lightly back of the hand to the left hip. Release, right palm down. Step it back. Option to rest or option to vinyasa, moving it through. Let's meet in down dog for 2 deep breaths. From down dog, second side, inhale, left leg, sweep it up and back. Bend the knee towards the ceiling, open the hip. Then start to sweep that left thigh on top of the right thigh. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Bend a little bit into your right knee as well. Unwind the legs, left leg high. Exhale, left foot towards the left thumb tip. Set up warrior two legs, so connect with that right heel bone. Sweep the arms out, lift the torso up, and just begin right away rotating the shoulder bones. Right palm up, left palm down. Switch that out. You rotate through the upper arm bone. Stay connected and rooted through your feet. Let's add Gomukhasana arms, left elbow towards the ceiling, bend the hand or bend the elbow. You can kind of graze the back of the left shoulder, right elbow down, internal rotation. Sweep the arms out wide, switch that out. Right elbow high, left elbow low. Continue switching back and forth, and then maybe you add on by not allowing the hands to touch the back body as you change. So it adds a little layer of complexity. One more time, left elbow high, right elbow low. And then release that, arms wide, circle that right palm down underneath the right shoulder, lift your right heel, simple twist, left arm high. Start to find that internal rotation of your left arm. Bend the elbow, back of the left hand to the right hip. Unwind out of that, sweep the left arm high. And then again, find the internal rotation, bend the elbow, hand to hip. One more time. So release the left hand, plant the palm. Option to step back through Vinyasa or just skip it all together, rest, feel free. Take your time. So from downward facing dog, if that's where you are, set your knees to the mat. Come to the forearms, interlace the fingers to the webbing. Look at your elbows, the wrist, and see a triangle there. Your elbows are right underneath your shoulders. Step your feet back, forearm plank. Lengthen out. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Lift the hips up, walk the feet forward, dolphin. Head is still away from the mat. Breath in. Breath out. Walk the feet back out, lengthening into forearm plank. And then lower the knees, the pelvis. Find Sphinx. Breath in here. Stack the hands underneath the forehead, elbows wide. Let the forehead rest. Breath in, breath out. Just take a moment here to feel this connection with whatever is underneath you, your yoga mat, the surface of the floor, the carpet, a rug, whatever it is. Feel that actual sensation of the material underneath your hands, your body. What is supporting you right now? And palms underneath the shoulders, press up. I'll have a headstand practice today. We've been working our way towards this for, it's been almost 2 weeks. So if you've been coming along for the journey with me, you have options. If you are a seasoned practitioner, you have a seasoned headstand practice, and you don't need the instruction, feel free to head there safely and slowly. If headstand practice is new to you, a couple of things to note. One, you need to have a really healthy neck. And in that I mean, it feels strong. You can understand how to find the central axis of the spine. You understand shoulders over hips, ears in line with shoulders. it's important to feel that alignment first in your body before you go upside down and bear weight on the head. Okay, so healthy neck, healthy spine. Number 2, no high or low blood pressure issues. If that is the case for you, you can just take legs up the wall and have a really nice, soothing, restorative inversion practice. In place of a wall, you can also take legs up and over the chair. Okay? Or if you would like some instruction, I'll walk it through with you. I'd like you to use the wall. If you have space in your home, turn your mat against the wall. I'm going to do this from the side. I like to add a little extra padding underneath my head. I have a nice wide blanket. It's going to support the whole triangle shape of my hands. And I'm going to find that alignment of elbows right underneath my shoulder. And I'm going to keep that locked there. I do interlace my hands to the webbing because I make this little cup with the back of my head. Right, so the top of my head, I'm looking for the top of my head to root down. My hands are interlaced at the back of my head. My elbows are right underneath my shoulders. And then I'm going to curl my toes under, lift my hips up, just like we practiced in dolphin, except for now I'm bearing some weight on the head. Not on the forehead, on the very top of the head. So when you do this, when you lift your hips and curl your toes under, walk your feet forward, you might start to feel this automatic shift of weight, hips over shoulders. And then you might even come up to the tippy toes. You might lift one leg up, feel that weight again, shift and transfer. And maybe you just balance with one foot lifted and one foot towards the mat. You could change out the feet. Try the opposite side. Feel that weight balance, transfer, and shift. And that leg that's lifting, it might even feel like it's going to reach the wall, in which case you could bring the other leg up to meet it. If you're in the center of the mat in the middle of the room like I am, give yourself a pause, come out. Take child's pose. And even if you're not in the center of your room, if you want to pause and come out, take child's pose. A couple of breaths to just let that first round go. Typically, I wouldn't have us do a headstand practice twice. Generally, when you're a more seasoned practitioner, you get into your headstand and you stay there for a period of time. But we're building up to that, and we're looking at the form and technique to create that stable foundation. So I'll give us the opportunity to explore this step by step again. But if you are upside down still, feel free to stay. Feel free to stay if that's feeling good. All right, so first, elbows underneath the shoulders, interlace the fingers to the webbing. Curl the chin into the chest as you shift forward. Find the top of the head on the mat. Hands are cradling the back of the head. Curl the toes under, lift the hips up. Walk the feet forward. You might automatically feel that weight transfer. Hips over shoulders, you might come even to the tippy toes. You're never, ever, ever, ever kicking up into headstand. You're just feeling that shift of weight, and then everything lifts. So I'll be quiet here and let you explore the legs, maybe right and left, or maybe you're just balancing at the wall. So we can take about 5 deep breaths. You can come out nice and slow with control. One leg lowers, the other leg follows. Softening the knees to the mat. Stretch your arms back behind you. Child's pose. You could take the hands to the low back, palms facing the ceiling. You can stack your dominant hand inside of your non-dominant hand. Let the forehead connect to the blanket or a block if the floor feels really far away. Breathe here. 3 deep breaths, child's pose. Start to stretch the arms forward. We'll take one more pass through downward facing dog, just to lengthen out the back body a little bit. Down dog for a couple of breaths. Then step the feet forward, cross the ankles, or you can hop through to lower the sits bones. We'll come all the way onto your back. Knees bent, feet planted. Same way we began, coming full circle. Arms down alongside the body. Lift your hips up. Walk your shoulder blades in towards the spine. Option to just bend the elbows, fingertips up towards the ceiling, or you can find again that interlace of the fingers to the webbing. Pressing the pinky edge of the palm down into the mat, reaching the knuckles towards the backs of the feet. Breath in. Breath out. Let's hold this for 3. For 2. Last one. Release the arms. Let the shoulder blades spread a little bit. Let the tailbone come to the mat. Widen your feet. Let your knees draw in towards one another. Hands to the low belly. Constructive rest or Ardha Shavasana. Let's hug our knees into our chest. Rock a little bit side to side. Last shape we'll take is a supine twist. You can modify in any way you like. We're going to start with the knees moving off to the left first so that your right hip stacks on top. Right arm sweeping off to the side. Shoulder blade, back of the head, everything's heavy here. So support your body in any way you like. Modify with any twist that feels or sounds good to you. Settle in here for a few breaths. Three deep breaths on this first side and that twist. Make your way back through center. Adjust the hips. Arrange your legs in whichever way you need. Add your props. Start to descend opposite side. Feet, knees to the left. To the right. So that your left hip is stacking on top. Relax your left shoulder. Back of the head. Soften. And you release any clenching here, any holding on, any gripping. 3 breaths. When you're ready, start to slowly unwind. It's time now to head into Savasana. As you head into Savasana, feel free to make this truly your own, adding props, any particular setup that you like. It might mean seated meditation or hands at the wall. Whatever it is, head in that direction. Feel free to turn down lights or place something over the eyes to block out external distractions. And so as you come to this place of rest, your final shape, lengthen out. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. In a comfortable place to rest your hands. You might even make that connection again, palms to the low belly. That feels good. Slightly tilt your chin towards your chest. Feel the length of the spine, the back of the neck. Big breath in through the nose. Open your mouth, exhale the air out. Let your back teeth part. Let your tongue widen at the base of your mouth. Soften your gums, your jaw, your teeth, your lips. Bring your awareness to the eyes. Let them sink heavily into their sockets. Relax the flesh around the eyes. And settle your awareness to the space right between the eyebrows. See, feel, or sense that a deep calm is settling over the entire length of the body. As you continue to relax and release, feel the weight of the body melt into the floor. The front body softens into the back body. The whole back body softens into the earth. come to a place of peace in your Savasana, I invite you to stay as long as you like. If you'd like to come along with me, we'll have a Pranayama practice and a brief seated meditation to close. If you'd like, begin to slowly bring awareness back to the body, the limbs, awakening fingertips and toes, gently moving head side to side. Space around you, you can breathe in, stretching into the length of the body. And breathing out, bend your knees, roll off to the side. Pause in fetal position. Keep the eyes closed. Pressing your hands, rise up to a comfortable seat, and do make this a comfortable seat. There's something underneath the sits bones that allows your knees to relax towards the floor, even if that means sitting in a chair. Let your sits bones root and your spine grow tall. Pranayama practice will be 3 rounds, alternating between breath of fire, pumping the needle into the spine, forcing the exhale out through nose or mouth. Inhale happens automatically. Interspersed with Surya Vedana, which will be the right hand up to the crescents of the nose. You're closing your left nostril first, so you inhale through your right, and then you close your left nostril, exhaling through your left. That will be 1 complete round. We'll do it 3 times. You might place your hands on your belly for your first round of Kapalabhati or breath of fire. Do it for 1 minute. I will time us. Inhale to begin. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right hand up to crescents of the nose. Close the left nostril. Inhale through the right. Close right. Exhale left. Kapalabhati, breath of fire. Inhale to begin. 2nd round. Keep going. Relax your jaw. Shoulders, feel them stack over your hips. Crown of the head growing tall as you continue. Breath of fire. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Surya Vedana, right hand up. Close left nostril. Inhale right. Close right. Exhale left. Third and final round, breath of fire. Inhale to begin. Continuing, it doesn't matter how fast you go. If you need to take a break, that's fine. Join us again when you're ready. Let the motion be just within the belly, so nothing else is moving. The only action in the body is the belly snapping back into the spine. Five, four, three, two, one. Surya Vedana. Close left nostril. Inhale right. Close right. Exhale left. Release the right hand down to the thighs. Keep the eyes closed. Neutral breath in and out through both nostrils. So your sits bones rooting here, right and left. Shoulders relaxed. Tall and proud through your spine. Bring your awareness to the belly, expanding and contracting. The inhale, belly expands, balloons out. The exhale, the navel hugs back into the spine. Big, full, deep belly breaths here. And as you breathe like that into the pit of the stomach, visualize a sun right there at the navel center. You can see, feel, or sense the sun. What would that look like? What would that feel like to have a sun expanding and contracting at the center of the belly? How big does your sun get? Does it expand across the body? Does it get bigger than your physical body? Does it expand beyond the borders of the room that you currently occupy? Just notice. Feel that sense of the sun warming the core body from the inside out. Letting go of any trying, any doing. Bring your hands together to your heart. Begin to rub the palms together right and left. Create a sense of heat and friction. Notice what the hands feel like, the texture, the sensation. Rubbing the hands just a little bit quicker. Until they feel quite warm, release the hands, cup them over the eyes. Feel that energy moving back into the body, regenerating your senses, body, mind, and spirit. The hands still over the eyes, blink the eyes open and close 2 times. Finally, joining the hands together at the heart, bowing the chin into the chest, honoring the infinite wisdom of the heart space. We'll sing the sound of Om together one time to close our practice. Breath in to begin. May you remember that you will always be okay. May you find a white light that guides you and keeps you safe. Of hope, health, and happiness. Namaste, yogis.